I aspire to make change. I have been empowered by the content of the Bachelor of Environment and Society because it has affirmed to me my prior inclinations, whilst also allowing me an historic context to explain the interconnectivity between the cultural ideals and environmental degradation that we experience today. Through this understanding, I feel motivated towards pursuing a career in politics, as I believe in the organisational capacity of the political domain to enact the environmental changes that we need to see. Within the next 5-year period, I plan on being quite busy. I've enrolled in a part-time job at the Melbourne City Council as an assistant to the Sustainability Manager, who is responsible for the orchestration of the green infrastructure projects in the City of Melbourne. This will be a 6-month contract that will allow me to study as I simultaneously get an insight into the logistics involved of enacting environmental policy on a local level. Following this, I want to go on exchange to Malmö University in Sweden, because Sweden is one of the forerunners of environmental policy in the world. I'm also interested to live in a country that is socially democratic and observe how this political persuasion shapes the culture. Following this, I would like to represent RMIT at the United Nations Climate Convention in Poland. I hope that this will allow me an insight into the inner workings of one of the most prominent organizations that could bring about unilateral agreements that address the global phenomenon of climate change. During my final year of study, I hope to engage with local NGOs and not-for-profits to continue in my understanding of how environmental politics is addressed within a range of organizational contexts. Following my degree, I am interested in working internationally within the United Nations or another relevant organization, as I am clear that cross-cultural communication is paramount in addressing this global ecological issue. Because I have previously studied sustainable agriculture, I am particularly interested in regenerating devastated landscapes in an attempt to have environmental as well as social impacts on those who live in these areas. After a stint abroad, with my experience in the international arena, I would love to apply my growing understanding of food security within an Australian context. While we are a resource-rich country, we are also drought-prone, and I believe that the intrinsic vulnerability of our urban context is not as acknowledged as it should be. From this perspective, an example of one of the objectives I would like to instate is that a proportion of suburban parks is given to urban agricultural projects. Not only will this instate a sense of food security, it will also be beneficial to the environment through the amount of biodiversity that will be encouraged to grow from the organic agricultural practices, and it will also become hubs for community gathering and education. Thank you for allowing me your time. I have high hopes and big dreams that are rooted in simple and practical solutions to the wicked problems of our age.